Hello, hello, hello. I just got done meal prepping for the week for the last about hour and a half. I feel awesome, but now I have to clean up the big mess. But let's roll back in time and I'll share with you what I did. I did an entire week of meal prep for me, what I was needing this week because I am going to be gone for a few days. And I thought it was super awesome to share with you how I'm going through and how I'm making real freezer meals, things that you can put in the freezer, but you don't have to if you want to, but really easy things you can make ahead. For me, spending an hour to an hour and a half in the kitchen on a Saturday or Sunday and working my way through the week is so much better than making meals every single day when I'm really, really busy. So a lot of it, it's really easy. It's like half bulk, half meals. Come on, I'll show you.
The first thing I like to do is my produce prep, and I find that when I produce prep for the week ahead or however many days I want to in advance, it just makes things so simple. I even went the extra route, and I'll share with you how I soaked my carrots, chopped my lettuce, and just prepared it for the longest shelf life, if you will, so that way it doesn't spoil before I'm able to use it. Strawberries, I have determined, are my favorite fruit. I could eat them unlimited. I shared them in my grocery haul in my last video. They were 87 cents per container for a pack of 2. I know that some people don't love that, us Americans, we would rather have mediocre fruit all year round than have superior fruit a couple days a year, but I'm kind of one of those people that's okay with mediocre strawberries because I love them so much. I like having them all the time. I would be really sad if I only had them in season once a year. Even though they are the best when they're in season, I don't mind them when they're mediocre. I also love to remind you that I like to keep the strawberry tops, in case you're wondering why we're putting those in a bag, is because I like to put them in my smoothies. I've already went through the entire length of washing my strawberries. I like to wash them with a little bit of salt or white vinegar. This day I just did salt because they didn't have white vinegar. But the strawberry tops I put in a bag, put them in the freezer, and they're great to add to a smoothie because they don't really taste like anything. Like the green top doesn't. It just kind of tastes like a hint of strawberry. So just a nice way to use them up. And then I went ahead and washed my peppers, and someone left a comment in my last video saying that if you wash your onion, cut it in half, don't remove the root, and then put it in water and soak it for a few minutes, you won't have watery eyes. Genius trick. It worked. Could also been the onion type. I don't know. I know different onions are stronger, so they make your eyes water, but I can't stand that about onions. And I'm not someone who's going to wear swim goggles while chopping onions. I'd rather just have watery eyes. Anyways, this trick definitely did the trick. I had no issues with watery eyes and was super happy about it. So I went ahead and prepped some onion for the week for meals later in the week, but also to put on salads if I wanted to, or to add to potato salad if I feel like making that later in the week, because this day I just told myself to be in the kitchen for about an hour, hour and a half, see what I could get done. If I didn't get everything done, that's okay. At least I got a jump start on it. But I got most everything done. So I went ahead and saved some of the onions for later in the week and then had a few for a dish that I'm making this day. Same for the peppers. I went ahead and chopped some really small for a chili that I'm making later on in this video, and then saved other ones for eating with hummus or salads or just having as a nice crunchy side. I love to snack on fruits and veggies while I am making dinners at night. This week I have a couple dinners in mind that I want to make, so stay tuned. I will do my best to film those and get those up for you guys. This little bench scraper from IKEA is also the best thing ever. Just these little tools in life just really, really help make everything so efficient and easy. I love this thing. Let me know down below, what is something you're meal prepping for the week? Are you someone like me that likes to get the bulk out of the way on either the day you do your grocery shopping or the next day? Typically, I do it on the day I do my grocery shopping, but this week I did it the next day. Or are you someone who likes to meal plan in a way that you're making something every single day? As long as I have the bulk of everything done, I'm super happy to cook every day because I love to cook, but there are some days I don't have to, don't want to, and that's cool too. So for the carrots, I'm just soaking them in water because, again, it gives them longevity, keeps them fresher, keeps them from getting dry. I find it's the best way to store my carrots, so I make sure to do that every week, whether I get bulk carrots or baby carrots. And then as far as my lettuce goes, I don't like to leave it in the wrapper unless it's the romaine lettuce from Trader Joe's. That one will last 2 to 3 weeks in my refrigerator. I don't have to do anything to it. But I know if it comes from another store, it just doesn't last as long, so I will chop it. I didn't wash it because I don't have a salad spinner. And then I'll put paper towels on the top of it. And then every time I go to get it out of the fridge, I'll usually replace the paper towel because that will help keep the life of the lettuce. And usually I can get up to 2 weeks if I don't use all the lettuce at once. But this is really great because we can use this for taco bowls later in the week. I can add it to salads. I also have spring mix on hand, which I'll share with you here in a second, because I'm also going to put a paper towel in that and help with the shelf life, refrigerator life of the lettuce, just so I have an extended life period. So it's not getting wrinkly and gross and slimy before I'm able to use it, in case I don't use it until the back end of the week.
I came upstairs to do some laundry while everything was kind of going on in the kitchen, and I didn't need to be down there at that exact second. And I wanted to chat with you guys really quickly. As you know, I have shared with you that during the IVF ICSI process, I gained weight. It's a natural thing when you are adding hormones into your body. It's like, doesn't matter what you're eating, how healthy you're eating, how many calories, it happens. The side effect of all those medications is typically weight gain, which I am fine with. But I shared with you guys a couple weeks ago that I really wanted to focus during the time that I had after recovering from egg retrieval prep until the frozen embryo transfer, which I didn't know how long that would be, by the way, that I really wanted to focus on making sure I felt my best, maybe losing those pounds that I had gained if I could. I just didn't realize how difficult it would be, to be honest. And it's most likely because I am put on more medication, so it's kind of holding my weight as is. So I started doing a little bit of research, and when FitTrack reached out to me, I was super excited because after exploring about their scale, it is more than just weight. The goal with FitTrack is to not just focus on weight as number one. You have 17 different metrics that you can track. And it's really cool too, because with those metrics, you can make better decisions when it comes to your diet and your nutrition and overall lifestyle. You'll get an overall progress report, and of course you can log your workouts, your calories, and they have exercise videos. They even add in the added benefit of having a health score. With this score, they are able to help you achieve your goals better and more efficiently than just constantly guessing at what you think you need to be doing. It's super simple. The scale syncs right to the app on your phone, and every time that you weigh, it goes and enters all the data. I personally really like that it takes more account than just the weight. With this time of my life, if I was just focusing on the weight, I would probably be a little bit frustrated because my weight is fluctuating so much from the different hormone medications that I'm currently on, plus the ones I was just on and the ones that are to come. Instead, I like to see that my body fat is what I am focused on. So I know on any given day when I step on the scale, if my weight is up, it's most likely water weight. And that is a really awesome thing to physically see. If I didn't have this scale and I was stepping on the scale and saw that my weight was up, immediately, you know, you have that thought of like, oh my gosh, how did I gain 4 pounds yesterday? Well, girl, you started birth control a week ago, so that is water weight. And it's just really nice to have that reassurance for me during this time in my life. I like that it gives me a lot of confidence when it comes to where I'm at right now, and it makes me feel empowered. I feel motivated because of this scale in a way that is different than just weighing myself. Plus, I feel super accountable, and I feel like I'm in the driver's seat knowing all of this data.
I thought it would be really helpful to share with you my protein rate, since I am plant-based and I've been sharing with you guys over the last 6 to 7 months that my goal is to eat more protein and not just starch and vegetables, but to have an overall balanced diet. My protein rate is 19.7, which is in the high markers of standard, which is excellent. My doctor does keep an eye on all of my blood work. I go in for blood work monthly. And one thing that I was worried about until she said, nope, you're good, is that my protein is awesome. And I just love that this scale shows that to you, so you don't have to go to your doctor and look at all that stuff. You can see it based on your protein mass and your protein reports.
And it saves you money. If you've ever done a DEXA scan before, which I had in my 20s, I actually purchased 3 of them. They're typically between $100 and $200 depending on where you go. This is basically like having that at your home, and you can weigh yourself every day and get that full scan. It's already on sale on their website for 30% off, but if you use my code Miranda, you're gonna get an additional 20% off, and that's 50%. You'll find the link in the description box. Go ahead and order yours today. I'm super excited to use this for myself throughout my pregnancy, just to kind of monitor my overall health in a different way that's not just about weight. I'm also super excited to use it post-pregnancy because again, it's going to focus on more than just weight, and I feel like it'll make me feel my best, most confident self, knowing more data than just the number on the scale of what I weigh in gravity to the ground.
Getting back into it, I decided to go ahead and meal prep some brown rice. And now looking at the clock, I'm realizing, I think I told you I worked about an hour and a half total. It was like a little over an hour. So I was moving in the kitchen this day. All right, if you struggle making white or brown rice on the stovetop, I have the perfect recipes. I'll link them down below. Brown rice boils for about 25 to 30 minutes. I find mine cooks a little bit faster. I will stir it once, usually just to see where the water's at. I do not cover my brown rice. And then when it has a little bit of water left and I taste it and it's nice and chewy, I go ahead and turn off the heat and put a lid on it and then pull it back and let it sit for 15 minutes and don't touch it, and it's always perfect. So with the rice, I decided to go ahead and make a chili. This is a perfect freezer meal. You can also freeze rice if you want to make it ahead. This chili I decided to have with the rice. But again, it's a perfect freezer meal. You can throw it in the freezer or half it in the freezer, and then you can have some for the front end of the week and some for the next week. Or if you want to make things ahead so you don't have to make anything the following week, I went ahead and used onion and red pepper, a little bit of salt. This is my chili seasoning mix, which I can leave the recipe for this down in the description box. You can also check out my blog. It's linked down below. I also added some nutritional yeast and 2 cans of pinto beans, and I went ahead and brought this to a simmer, let it simmer for about 20 minutes, and then it was good to go. I find that the easiest, simplest meals that I can make ahead that aren't time consuming and don't have a ton of ingredients, I can get a lot done in an hour to an hour and a half. Oh, I also want to add here, I did add veggie broth, so if you want to add water or veggie broth, completely up to you. All right, moving on, we are doing another great freezer prep meal, or you can use this like I did for the week. It is technically 3 ingredient waffles, but I did add a little bit of vanilla, so it is 4 ingredients. So I went ahead and took 2 cups of oats and pulsed them in a food processor, so they're more like an oat flour. I like my waffles to be really dense and not super liquidy. If you want these to be more liquidy, then you could add some extra nut milk. So 2 bananas, half a cup of nut milk, and 2 cups of oats is the original recipe, but I went ahead and added some chia seeds and a little bit of vanilla as well. I'll leave the recipe link for this as well to my blog, so that way you guys can have it, you can print it, whatever you want to do. But if you do add chia or flax seeds, definitely let the bananas and the milk and either the chia and the flax sit for about 15 to 20 minutes so that they can get, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, oh, you guys, let me know down in the comments what the word I'm trying to think of, like almost like a gelatin kind of esque thing. The word is completely escaping me, but then they can blossom, and that way when you go ahead and bake them, you're not getting like a crunchy chia seed in your mix instead, or a flaxseed if you will. If you use flaxseed, make sure you use ground flaxseed, but this way they're nice and blossomed. Anyways, I just mix it up and let it sit for about 15 minutes, and then I pulled out my handy dandy waffle maker, which I have not used, I don't think, in over a year. I have the 4 the 4 colander dash. I really like it. Like I said, I like denser waffles. If you can't have bananas, you could try this with sweet potatoes or pumpkin. It'll also be really good with zucchini. You can try applesauce, and there's a lot of different variations you can make to this. But as you can see, my waffles are very, very dense. These also toast up really well in the toaster. So if you want to freeze them and toast them and pull them out a couple at a time, that way they aren't going bad if you want to make a huge batch of them. My batch only makes 8. But you could double or triple this and then put them in the freezer and have them on hand. All right, here's the Dash waffle maker that I was telling you about. I would personally never in my life purchase the single one. I'm not even sure why they make the single one. That just seems so time consuming to me. But the 4-pack one, I can get down with. Or if you had like a big waffle maker and was making 1 waffle at a time, I think that would be a little bit easier. But the little tiny Dash ones, I'm confused. That would take me so long if I was making a big batch of these. I wouldn't do it. Anyways, these are great if you want to pop them in the freezer. They were super fast. I mean, other than the fact that I had to let the batter kind of sit for a few minutes, but I was doing other things. So you just keep moving and going, and time just flies. But let me know down below. Are you going to make these waffles? Are you going to substitute the bananas for sweet potatoes, for pumpkin? I actually say later in this video that I think I'm going to go get some pumpkin and make these with pumpkin because that sounds really good. I also think it would be really, really good if you did like an apple cinnamon version. So you baked or cooked some apples maybe in the crock pot with some cinnamon, sugar. That would be really good with some maple syrup. And then for me, I'll have these in the morning with a protein shake after I work out or after I go for a walk. Just super convenient. Can take them with me. Like I said, you can toast them in the toaster and then you're good for the morning. And like I said, this only made 8, but I would definitely make more of these and put them in the freezer so that you have them for later. All right, last thing that I'm making is a little bit time consuming, but definitely worth it. It's something, again, you can make a huge batch of, and this is again a great freezer meal. I'm going to put this one in the freezer and have it later in the week. I am making a shepherd's pie, but instead of doing a classic russet or white potato, I'm going to do it with sweet potatoes on the top, and it's going to be so good. So I went ahead and peeled and chopped my sweet potatoes, and I'm also going to put these in the pressure cooker just because it's a lot less time consuming. Total, this whole thing takes 25 minutes to make, which isn't that bad. And if you decide to double or triple your batch, you can make 3 of them in that time. And then once you put them in the freezer, it's just like so awesome to have that made ahead. So I don't have an Instant Pot. I have a pressure cooker. So for me, it usually takes about 8-ish, 9-ish minutes to cook potatoes. And I like them so they're really, really soft and just really easy to mix up. So that way I don't have to get out another kitchen appliance. I don't have to like get out a potato masher or anything. I can just whip them with a fork. I went ahead and added veggie broth to them. I go ahead and cover them with veggie broth, pop the lid on, and I believe I put them in here for 9 minutes. I think a pressure cooker would be 4, but read your instruction manual because like I said, this is not an Instant Pot, it's a pressure cooker, so it's a little bit different. And then once they're done, it's facing backwards because I didn't want all the steam to hit my under counter. But like I said, they're super nice and tender. I like them this way, so that way I can just mix them really quickly with a fork. And then I went ahead and made some lentils, and all I did to add to the lentils is I added the veggie broth to cook them in, and then some tomato paste. And then for seasoning of the potatoes, I used nutritional yeast, salt, garlic, and paprika. You can add anything you like, any type of flavor. I really like the sweet potato on the top. It bakes really nicely and gets a nice crispiness to it, just like the russet potato. You can bake it covered for 20 minutes and then uncover it and put it on broil for like 8 minutes, and it's awesome. All right, here's the lentils. And then I just took a bag of the frozen mixed veggies, popped them in the microwave, put them in there, added some onion salt from Trader Joe's. I'm just sharing here how I did it because the camera wasn't on and I'm just like mocking myself. And then, like I said, lentils, I added some tomato paste, cooked them in veggie broth, I added a little bit of salt. It wasn't anything too crazy because I was kind of flavoring every layer, and together they end up being really, really good. And then you just put it all together. And like I said, it takes about 25 minutes because you have to wait for those lentils to cook, but it's really worth it, especially if you make everything ahead. You can try something different other than lentils if you'd like. I just really like it with lentils, and I use them every single time. And usually I'll change up the recipe. Sometimes I'll do it with different potatoes. Sometimes I'll add crushed tomatoes, different veggies. You can just kind of add whatever you'd like. But like I said, this is a great meal that you can make in bulk and you can make it ahead. It's a great freezer meal. I am going to put this one in the freezer, and then whatever day I pull it out, either I'll pull it out the night before that we're going to have it or the morning of. Let it sit on my counter if it's the morning of, and then I'll put it in the oven at 375 for about 30-35 minutes, and then add a couple minutes to broil to make the potatoes really crispy on the top. Okay, here's the end result. My kitchen is a mess, but that's okay. This is like really easy to clean up. I've been doing the dishes as I've been going because that's like my biggest tip if you're doing meal prep. As you're doing things, load the dishwasher or wash dishes. I just have a few things left, but let's walk our way through. I made this shepherd's pie, as you saw, and this is gonna go in the freezer, and I can pull it out. It is not baked, it's just set up. I'm gonna pop the lid on this, put it in the freezer, and then the day before I make it or the morning of, I'll pull it out, put it in the refrigerator or set it on the counter, and then pop it in the oven at 375 for about 30 minutes until the potatoes on the top are crispy. Another great freezer idea, but I did not make enough to put in the freezer, but this is a great make ahead, is these waffles. You could also make pancakes if you don't have a waffle maker. Fantastic. I'm going to eat these and take them with me probably on my trip. Might have to make another batch of them. I think I might make some
in a little bit and put pumpkin in them because my husband doesn't like bananas, and then put those extra ones in the freezer. I did some rice, as you saw, brown rice. You can also freeze this if you want to, but I've been on a brown rice kick lately. Also decided to make a big batch of chili, and that will go together. You can definitely put this in the freezer as well. Before my camera battery dies, I also prepped all of my veggies for the week. You saw me do that, but this is just super simple, so I can add anything to yogurt or salads or whatever I'd like, and then I'm good to go. That's all I have for you. I hope you have an awesome day. My camera battery is about to die because I've used all of it up. Make sure you're subscribed and give this video a huge thumbs up, and I'll see you soon in a new video. Bye.